How's it going? What's up? It's Mike D for Mike D's Marketing Mix. And remember, Mike D's Marketing Mix is brought to you by two websites. So you want to remember these. These are our sponsors, and I actually own these websites, so they don't pay anything for sponsorship. CyberSpaceToYourPlace.com and ReputationDomination.Ninja. Those are our two sponsors for this episode. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, we have two topics for you. Two different topics, but obviously both related to the internet marketing world. So I have my whiteboard behind me, and again, totally just a place for me to sort of take a peek at what we're talking about and just kind of get my thoughts going. So number one, we're going to talk about what I call the big two of online marketing. And these big two concepts, these big two principles, every decision that you make regarding your online marketing, regarding your website, regarding what you do with social media, regarding your search engine optimization, anything you do really related to your online marketing ties back to these big two, and all decisions have to really flow, all changes have to really flow from all the statistics that you gather and the data you gather around these big two. So what are the big two? Number one is traffic, and number two is conversion. Traffic and conversion. The reason why traffic is first is because without traffic, you really have no conversion. So let's talk about each one specifically. So traffic, pretty simple. How much traffic are you generating to your internet properties, meaning your website or your landing page, right? That's traffic. And when you think about traffic, there's tons of various sources of traffic. We're not going to list them all today, but let's just talk about a few. So number one, you have organic traffic. That's traffic that is searching you out. And usually they're searching you out by typing in keywords and phrases related to your business or related to the types of problems or questions surrounding your business, or what your business, problems that your business solves, as an example. So that's organic, and we call that sort of a pull marketing, right? Then you could take that one step higher with traffic, and you can buy ads, on Google, if you will, or Bing, and you can drive search traffic to your website. So you buy some ads and supplement your organic search engine marketing efforts, and you can be there, again, what Google calls the moment of truth when someone is actually searching. So there's two forms of traffic. Then you obviously have your social media traffic, and in that you have basically two kinds there, right? You have your organic social media traffic. You put a good post out there, and that happens to have a link to your website, your blog, or your landing page. That becomes a source of traffic. Or you can be strategic about your social media ad marketing, and you can actually buy advertising, which you really have to do if you want to make a big splash on like, say, Facebook, of course. And you can actually drive traffic to your landing page or your website, right? So there's all sorts of ways you can bring traffic to the website. If you're building out an email list and you put an email out once a week and you have a link in that email, you can drive traffic. And there's various types of traffic, right? There's the traffic that originates through your own internal efforts, and there's obviously the traffic that originates through different sources of other online marketing activities that you're doing. Easy example, like direct traffic. Let's say you had an ad out there in the newspaper or something like that, your local newspaper, and one of the calls to action in that ad was to visit your website, yada.com / say summer special. Well, when someone actually went and they typed that right into their web browser, that would be a source of what we call direct traffic. So when you look at your stats, you see all the various sources of traffic. You see the keywords that have driven that traffic. You see like your top referring websites, where that traffic is coming from. You see whether it's direct or it came from somewhere else, and that gives you a chance to see, okay, what I'm doing to drive traffic to the website, how's it actually working? Okay. Now move that over to the other concept, which is conversion. This is where you can hold your website accountable, okay? And the conversion number is basically what you want your website to do. We want someone to make a phone call. We want them to fill out an online form to request more information, request a trial. We want them to come in. Whatever the case may be, request a coupon for their first visit. Whatever you're trying to do to measure the conversion, whatever your call to action is usually tightly related to your conversion measurement, all right? So when you think about your traffic, here's why you have to know these two concepts, traffic and conversion. You really need to know the numbers, and you got to have the right tracking in place to know these numbers. Because when everyone says, hey, you know, we could improve your website, or this website is doing real good, it's generating a lot of leads, or it's generating a lot of phone calls, whatever the case may be, instead of saying, oh, okay, great, you know, or wow, it generated, you know, 20 leads last week, that's awesome. Yeah, well, maybe it is awesome if, you know, if you're comparing that to generating, you know, 2 or 3 leads in a week from your website, or 2 or 3 phone calls. But first you have to think about how many unique visitors actually came to the website, right? Because if you had 20 leads, but you had, say, 1,000 unique visitors, and these unique visitors were all qualified, they weren't just like fake visitors from another planet or something like that, but they were all qualified, they responded to an ad, they did a search, they got there directly, whatever the case may be, you know, 1,000 of these visitors get there, or 2,000 or 10,000, whatever the number is, and you only had 20 leads. Well, you know, maybe it's time to think about how your website is really performing, or how good is that traffic that's actually coming, all right? And here's, I use this as a couple easy example. So when I ran my martial arts studios in Philadelphia, I did a lot of the introductory lessons. I used to enroll a lot of the students that would come in. Probably 9 out of 10 of the students that walked in that signed up for our school, I actually did the enrollment. And my numbers, I knew my numbers really well. I knew that if I had, say, 10 people in front of me that were interested in taking lessons, I would probably enroll on a given week 8 or 9 out of those. Okay, so that was my conversion, or my traffic was 10, 15, 20, and my conversion number was the amount that actually did the trial introductory program and actually then decided to enroll. And I talk when I work with contractors, I'll say the same thing. You know, if you had a sales guy out there, you were out there, you know, going bidding jobs, and you went out there and you put, say, 20 bids out for jobs, and you talked to 20 different people that were interested in hiring you, and say only one of them did, and the other 18, you know, went with a competitor, or 19 went with a competitor, you probably have to start thinking about, you know, what's really going on here? Why am I losing 19 out of 20 bids? Same thing with your website. You know, if you have 100 unique visitors and you're only getting, say, 1 to actually convert, that's 1%. Believe it or not, in the world of the internet, that's actually not so bad. But you know, you want to do a little better than that, right? So if you had 100 visitors and you got, say, 10 to convert, that would give you a 10% ratio. Now, the numbers can really, you know, be across the board. Sometimes certain businesses are actually totally based on only 1% of their visitors actually doing something. I'm not saying that's good or bad, but those are their numbers. They know their numbers. You know, your business may need to thrive on, say, 10% of your traffic actually converting. You just have to know what those numbers are. But those are the big two of the internet, I call them, big two of online marketing, traffic and conversion. Whenever you think about, is a website doing good, is a landing page is doing good, don't just look at the numbers of how many leads or how many calls or how many actions came from that page. Step back for 1 second and say, okay, let's look at the two numbers. What was the traffic? What was the conversion? What was the percentage? So think about that as you make all of your online marketing decisions, traffic and conversion. The subject goes a lot deeper, but we try to keep these videos as short as possible, 10 minutes, 13 minutes or so. So we need to end it there. So remember the big two of online marketing. All right, the last thing here, we're going to talk about digital media consumption. And I jotted this down just to kind of jar my own memory. So we have 2008, we have 2015. So in 2008, Americans consumed about 2.7 hours per day of digital media. Okay, that's, you know, think of what digital media is, right? So content that's not, you know, paper, right? So digital media, 2.7 hours in 2008. In 2015, we consume about 5.6 hours of digital media. Big jump. So we've almost, we've doubled, right? We've doubled the amount of digital media consumption. Now, some of that has come at the expense of print media, but a lot of it also has come not so much as the expense, but also just expanding the amount of media we actually consume because it's so readily available, right? So we consume 5.6 hours a day of digital media. That's everything. That's, you know, looking at websites, that's obviously being on social media, that's looking at different mobile apps and things like that. And this is a good segue here. Now, in 2008, 0.3 of those hours, or actually almost only 12% of the time consuming digital media, so 0.3 of those hours were spent on mobile devices, right? So 2008, you figure the most popular, that was when Android first came out. You have BlackBerry out there. The iPhone was about a year old or whatever it was at the time. So in 2008, you had 0.3 hours and you had about 12% of total digital media consumption on mobile. Fast forward to 2015, we're at 2.8 hours per day of digital media consumption being consumed on mobile, smartphones and tablets. All right, so now here's what I like to you guys understand, right? So that's everything. That's internet, browsing, inside mobile apps. We went from 2.7 to 5.6. So even though mobile now is a larger share rather than, say, desktop, it's actually 51% of all digital media consumption happens on a mobile device. Even though it's now a much larger share than it was in 2008, only 12%, the time has actually increased, more than double. All right, so we're on our devices more, we're consuming more media. So now is a good time to actually up your game when it comes to your online marketing, because that's where the eyeballs are, okay? And it's in all areas, right? It's the internet, the open internet, it's obviously Facebook, and it's also inside mobile apps. Mobile apps is a huge contributor to this number. We spend a lot of time using mobile apps for media consumption, and the good news is, you can actually have a mobile app for your business. Now, is your mobile app going to have hours per day being spent on it? Probably not, but you can actually use a mobile app to reach your customers, your clients, your members right on that device that they are spending almost 2.8 hours per day consuming media. So think about how a mobile app would be a good thing for your business as far as how to reach your prospects, your members, your customers on their device. Why would you want to do that? Not just because Mike D and his team sell mobile apps, right? But seriously, because the time spent in digital media consumption is there, and where the eyeballs go, the money follows. All right, so hey, it's Mike D with Mike D's Marketing Mix. Remember the big two of online marketing? Let's not put that there in case it falls. It's got a good case on it, but we got to still get a couple more months out of this. This is the Galaxy 5. Anyway, Mike D's Marketing Mix, and I hope you had a little fun today learning about the big two of the internet and also understanding where the eyeballs are today in digital media consumption. As always, brought to you by cyberspaceisyourplace.com and reputationdomination.ninja. Leave a comment below. Let us know if you have any questions, and feel free to share some of your thoughts. And we always like getting good feedback on these episodes. Right? We'll talk to you soon. Again, it's Mike D from Mike D's Marketing Mix. Take care.